As we get closer to Yom Kippur, I'd like to end this high holiday season with just one message, and that is, don't miss it. Don't miss it. We're about to go into 25 hours that are the most unique 25 hours in the entire year. They're unique in so many ways, but allow me to share two ways that they become more unique than any other day of the year. And I'm not talking about fasting, because there is another day of the year that we fast at night, and that, of course, is Tisha B'Av. Number one, the Tachbeis Katan, which is a book that codifies everything that the Maharam Mirutenberg did, comes along and says that on the night of Yom Kippur, mitatef betalito mi'ba'od yom mevarech, you go ahead and make sure to put on your talis and make a bracha on it before sunset, something that's codified by the Ramah, uvelil yom kippurim yitatef be'od yom v'yivarech alav. Indeed, the night of Yom Kippur, you wear a talis. It's the only night of the year that we wear a talis. And there's many different reasons given as to why we wear a talis on the night of Yom Kippur, and not just in the day of Yom Kippur. The Bach comes along and says, we are like angels on Yom Kippur. We wear white, and we even cover ourselves with white. We cover ourselves with our talis. A second reason given is the reason by the Lavush, who says that since we're going to say Slichos on the night of Yom Kippur, and indeed, the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah says regarding the 13 attributes of mercy, which is part and parcel of Slichos, that, and I quote, God, Kiviyachol, put on a talis and told Moshe, this is what you have to say when you want me to forgive you. Comes the Levush and says, since we're going to say Slichos, we have to put a talis on and be covered with it. Radbaz comes along and says that the reason that we wear a talis is kedei la'amod be'ema u've'yira, to stand with the proper awe and the proper fear before God, because God is so close to us on Yom Kippur. Three reasons why we wear a talis. Either it's because we're like angels, we're going to say slichos, or because to stand before God be'ema u've'yira, with the proper awe. Change number two of Yom Kippur, different than any other day of the year, is the fact that we say slichos anytime. We just finished a big period of slichos, and we went through when are the right times to say it, when is the times that we say it but we look the other way, and when are the times that it's forbidden to say it. All of a sudden, the night of Yom Kippur, all rules are off. Comes along the Magen Avraham and says explicitly that ein lomar kodem chatzot halayla shum slichot, never say before midnight any slichot, between nightfall and midnight. V'lo yud gimel midot, and don't say the 13 attributes of mercy. B'shum panim le'olam, never. Chutz mi b'Yom Kippur, but on Yom Kippur you can. You could say yud gimel midot anytime you want. So two changes happen on Yom Kippur. We wear a talis all day, and we can say slichos anytime we want. If that's the case, this day is indeed very unique. Comes along the Medrash and basically says a beautiful story about Baruch Shem Kvod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed, that indeed it's something that Moshe heard the angels say, wasn't told to him in the Torah, and it's not written in the 5 books of Moses, and he sort of stole it from the angels to the Jewish people. But they only say it once a year out loud, and that is on Yom Kippur. It's very unique in that we get the closest we can to God that a human being can on this earth. As the Medrash says, there's not much differentiating between us and angels on Yom Kippur. They don't eat, we don't eat. They wear white, we wear white. They don't wear leather shoes, neither do we. That being the case, I always feel bad that we're going to waste the day of Yom Kippur. Most Jews find themselves in shul, most Jews are davening, and yet, because davening is so long, they seem to use their day to do things that are just, in my opinion, a waste of time. They sit there and they look at the machzor, how many more pages are left. They start asking themselves, when did you finish Musaf? How long of your break? All this minutia is very good for the day after Yom Kippur. But Yom Kippur should be used and utilized because it is a special day. We're wearing a talis all day. We can say slichos anytime. Why waste it? As a matter of fact, even in the Beis HaMikdash, they didn't waste it. The general rule brought in Masechet Sota that says, and I quote, that you are ein shliach tzibur rashai lafshit et hateva b'tzibur p'nei kvod hatzibur. You don't start rolling the Torah in public. The Gabbai should do it prior to davening, and explains Rashi shetorah chatzibur la'akev shamim hasefer Torah. When you have empty time in shul, it's not a good thing, and indeed the Rambam codifies it. Ein golodin sefer Torah b'tzibur p'nei torah chatzibur shelo yatriach alehem liyot omdin ad sheyiglo sefer Torah. Not a good idea to have dead time in shul. So I would say that's on a regular day. But what about Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is a day where you got plenty of time. You got nothing better to do. You're not going for lunch. You're not going for breakfast. So therefore, take your time. Well, it turns out that even in the holiest place, the temple, with the holiest man, the Grand Kohen, they didn't waste time. The Gemara in Yuma, Daf Ayin Amud Aleph says that the Kohen Gadol would read from the Torah as part of the sacrificial work. He would read Parshat Acharemot from Vayikra, but then he would have to read what we call the Maftir from the latter part of Bamidbar, from Parshat Pinchas. But that latter reading, he would read Ba'al Peh, he would read by heart. Comes along the Gemara and asks, Amai, Niglo, V'Nikre, just roll the Torah. The Gemara answers, no. You don't go ahead and roll the Torah in public. The Meiri indeed spells it out for us. He would read Acharemot, then he would put it in his bosom over here and say, more than what I read is written in this Torah. And then he would continue to say the psukim of Pinchas ba'al peh, by heart. Or, in the words of Rashi, very succinctly, in other words, even in the Holy Temple, on a day where you got nothing better to do, you don't waste your time. You use your time. And we can utilize it by both confessing for our sins, and it's a good idea to print up pages that elaborate on the al-chaitz that we're going to say. But at the same time, as you look in the page in the screen, you can come before God and say, God, I did a few things right this year. Literally use the day to let it be a sfirat melai, to count what you have versus what you lack. And come out of this day happy. Happy because indeed the Gemara says, Lo hayu yamim tovim liYisrael ketu ba'av ukeyom HaKippurim. There were no more happier days than the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. And the Gemara says, Tu ba'av is a question, but Yom Kippur is not, because it's a day that God forgives you. If you utilize this day properly, you actually ask yourselves, what did I do right versus what did I do wrong? And you do it balanced. You can come out of this day very happy. What you did wrong, you did tshuva for. What you did right, you should continue. And then you'll be able to live with God the entire year. And more specifically, in the Holy Sukkah that comes right after the Yom Kippur day. Wishing everyone a Gemar Chatima Tova, an easy fast, but a significant fast, one that we'll utilize and not waste.